Hello, Josie here. As I get ready for the day, I wanted to come and ask you, are you ready for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And are you sure? Here we go. I'm reminded when I was in corporate, and, it changed after a CEO came on board. It changed, but I'm going to say it changed in the worst way, but there was still usual corporate tactics that go on. It just ramped up. Now, might be like, what am I talking about? There are certain individuals that get into corporate and their attitude is, I want the money. I want it all. I want the power. I want the prestige. I want to not climb the ladder. I want to take the elevator to get to where I want to go within the company. And even if it's not all the way to the top, CEO and or a board member, right? They will, take the elevator as far as they can go. And if they have a chance to get back on the elevator to go higher, if they so choose, they'll do that at that time. You've heard the term, you heard the phrase, there's levels to this, right? Well, there are levels to tactics that people will use to get what they want. And it's not the right way. It's not the right way. It's always the wrong way. So I was reminded, about the corporation, the company I worked for, right? When changes came into play for the new CEO to come in, prior to that, they had been working to get the CEO out of the company. But I don't know all the games that were played. This person was a part of the family name, right? He was a family member and he was the CEO of the company. When that person got removed, however they got removed, however it happened, there were people that came up against that person that had an issue or a problem with him, right? And they got him out. I don't know everything that happened with that CEO, but what I do know, when I had dealings with the CEO, I was very professional, number one, but I was very matter of fact. I didn't kiss his ass. I didn't try to impress him. I told him the truth, and the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And I remember when I first became a manager at this company, I had some customers that were, as they would call, old school, but really they were racist bigots that were customers of the store. And not all of them were racist, but there are a lot of customers that came from the country area, came from the rural area. They didn't live in the city. So they had an issue or had a problem because I was a manager. I was, of color. I had not transitioned at that time, but those two things, being a manager, being of color, and then being good at what I do, knowing the business, knowing the craft, and so on and so forth, I had to deal with, some customers that, were racist, prejudiced, and a lot of them, they ended up relaxing and chilling out and like coming around because they knew I knew what I was doing. And I was respectful and, I was, like I said, matter of fact. I don't play the racist, prejudice bullshit. You want to play those games? You can do that, but I'm not playing with you. There was one customer that lied. They lied. They wanted to try to get me in trouble. So they lied and said that I didn't do something. We were offering, promotions and or, a membership. And this person said they were not offered the membership. And I offered them the membership. I told them that their membership it had expired. If they wanted to renew, it was going to be this. And they said, oh, I don't want to do it right now. Well, as soon as I got home, contacts corporate, gets a hold of the CEO, tells the CEO lies, trying to get me caught up, right? CEO sends an email out, and I don't think he did it like CC everybody. I don't think he did it, but there were other people that were attached to the email, and it basically said, manager of store 133, call me. And so I did. I called him. I said, yes. So I had a customer that said, you didn't offer him a membership. I was like, no, that's a lie. I offered him a membership. I told him that their membership expired, and asked them if they wanted to renew it. They said they didn't want to right now. They were going to wait until next time. And this guy was not real friendly. He was kind of rude, kind of prejudiced. I don't think I went too far into it, but I let him know that I did my job, so to speak, And that matter-of-factly, that chill attitude, that respectful attitude, and that kind of like no-nonsense BS, no nonsense here. That got me respect. He did not question if I was telling the truth or not after he talked to me. He questioned the customer. Now, what does that have to do with what I am speaking on with regard to levels to this? There are some people that are able to handle not only certain situations, but certain jobs, tasks, ability to maneuver in different groups with different people, with different titles, and so on and so forth. And then there are people that are faking it, and they don't got what it takes. That is not the first CEO that I have had dealings with. Almost every CEO that I have ever met and or did not know was a CEO, they had respect for me because of my character, my behavior, my acumen, and my authenticity and honesty. That made me stand out to higher ups. And those that were not in a higher up position and or those that were in a position above me, they found me to be a threat because I was able to have access to CEOs and being in a position of lower status. And there are people that were in a higher status that had an issue with me because I was able to have access to CEOs just by being myself. And they felt as if they had to kiss ass. They had to do this, that, and the other. They had to play games. They had to do tricks and so on and so forth. And there's no telling what they did to get to the position that they're in. So in my corporate company, when the CEOs changed, here's some things that I noticed. You had a lot of the old school getting out of the game. And yes, there may have been some that used their sex and or used manipulative tactics to get into certain positions. But in general, I will say that I believe a majority of them got their positions the right way. But still, even those people that may have gotten their positions the wrong way, they don't last. They don't last. They may be able to get into a position for a period of time, but how they got it is how they're going to lose it. And there are individuals that are aware that there are people that will do certain things to try to get in positions, and they have read the situation for what it is. Maybe they didn't see it in the beginning, but eventually they saw it. And as soon as they saw and or found out the truth, they did necessary things to get that person out, and or that person got themselves kicked out. A lot of the times nowadays, you have more manipulation going on with those same people that took the elevator by riding dick or spraying their legs to get to the top, right? I've said this before. You take the elevator, you ride that dick, you spread those legs, you do whatever it takes, you open that mouth, you get on your knees, whatnot. How you got it is how you're going to lose it. So you can take the elevator, but you're eventually going to be tumbling down the fucking stairs from your behaviors. Lots of different ways that can happen. Unfortunately, those people that are tumbling down the stairs, they may take out people that are taking the stairs on the way up. And those people might run in and or bump in and or intentionally cause somebody to fall down the stairs. As well as people that took the elevator to get up, they'll get to the level that they want to get to, and then they'll do things to try to knock people that are taking the stairs down. There is an individual, she's a transgender man. She was born female, that worked as an associate underneath a manager. The manager that was in place, he went through the proper training and did the necessary to get the position that he had. He had to resign from his position because of his wife falling ill and him needing and wanting to take care of his wife. This transgender man saw an opportunity to use her sex, sleeping with the manager that had just got into his position the wrong way. And she was able to acquire the position of store manager without having any training, without having to go through the necessary. Basically, this manager used his position the wrong way. And the associate saw an opportunity to advance if she spread her legs for this manager, which she did. And that got her the position. Both of them corrupt, evil, manipulative, using manipulation, lies, sex to gain status, a position, power, authority, so that they can then wield evil and toxicity onto other people. I was one of those individuals that they did that to, because they saw me as a threat. I didn't use my sex to climb the ladder. I didn't use manipulative tactics to climb the ladder. I took the stairs, and here's the deal. I had access to CEOs. But this CEO that took over this company, she had access to information that I shared with an interim CEO. And I didn't have access to the new CEO because she wanted to use the information that I shared to gain for herself, instead of bringing me up the ladder faster because of what I shared, which helped the company to grow and make more money. How you get it is how you're going to lose it. So the money that this person made off of what I shared and did not lift me up, there's going to be a fall with that. The individuals that were used to attack me, they're going to have a fall from what they did. Everyone that had an opportunity to do the right thing and did not are going to meet a downfall greater than what I experienced. Doesn't mean that I'm not cut out for corporate. It just means that you can be the right individual in a corporation, but you have toxic people that got to where they're at by doing the wrong things. And then they can team up together to take out other individuals that they see as a threat. That just goes to show you. You can have people in store associate level that are doing what they can to get what they can get using their sex, manipulation, evil tactics. You have people in middle management that are doing the same thing amongst each other as well as against their subordinates. You have people in higher up positions that are also doing the same thing to middle management, other peers, and so on and so forth. But they're basically like the mastermind in a lot of ways. And if the wrong individual gets into a position, it can destroy a company. But there are individuals that have been playing this game for years, and they have finessed, and they have actually gotten up to that high stature of CEO. But did they get it the right way? Nowadays, it's very rare that they are getting it the right way. No matter how prim and polished they may look on the outside, you don't know what's going up here, and all the things that they've done from the lower level to the middle level to the higher level to the top echelon. A lot of ways it's a game, but how you play the game, that matters. Yes, the game is chess, but there is an ultimate chess master. His name is God. And God has his children in different organizations, corporations, environments, neighborhoods that he has placed to be able to call out the toxicity. I said this earlier. There are individuals that are made, and there are individuals that have what it takes, and they don't have to be made. They were created by God, and they have the gifts, they have the talent, they have the abilities to be able to be in the lowest of positions, to mid-level, to upper, to top echelon, and it's God that's going to take him there. Not saying that they're not going to be people alongside you and or in your environment that are not going to try to take you out. God will allow what he's going to allow. You got to learn to accept it, because God may have something better for you, and God definitely has something for those that came against you. Hope you got the message. Gotta go.